Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, the legendary rock icon whose music and larger-than-life personality captivated millions around the world, has revealed his final wish to his beloved wife Sharon Osbourne, and the revelation is nothing short of heartbreaking. In the weeks leading up to his untimely passing, sources close to the family disclosed that Ozzy shared his innermost thoughts and deepest desires with Sharon, leaving her both shattered and determined to honor his last request. Fans of Ozzy have always known him as a man of rock, rebellion and unapologetic honesty, but behind the wild persona and the stage theatrics was a man profoundly aware of the fragility of life and the importance of family. The final chapter of his life, marked by illness, reflection, and an unflinching confrontation with mortality, has now shed light on a side of Ozzy that few had seen before. Tender, vulnerable, and deeply human. Ozzy's health in his final months had been a topic of public concern for years, with the legendary singer battling a series of medical issues including Parkinson's disease, injuries from multiple accidents, and other complications that made everyday life a struggle. Yet, even in the face of declining health, Ozzy remained mentally sharp and emotionally connected, especially to Sharon, who had been by his side for decades. According to close family friends, Ozzy's final wish was not about grandeur or fame, not about money or legacy, but about something far more personal and meaningful. He wanted his family to come together, to cherish every moment, and to ensure that his children and grandchildren would always feel the love and protection he had worked tirelessly to provide. It was a reminder that behind the heavy metal legend was a father, a husband, and a grandfather whose love for his family defined him more than any chart-topping hit ever could. Sharon Osbourne, who has spent a lifetime in the public eye alongside her husband, described the final days as deeply emotional and incredibly difficult. She recalled conversations with Ozzy in which he spoke candidly about the inevitability of death, and his hopes for those he would leave behind. "He just wanted peace for all of us," Sharon shared, her voice heavy with emotion. "He wanted the family to stay strong, to love one another fiercely, and to remember that life is fleeting. He said he didn't want us to dwell in sorrow, but to celebrate the moments we had, and to make sure we carry on his spirit of joy and laughter." Those who have followed Ozzy's life closely know that humor, mischief, and music were never just performance. They were the essence of his being. Even in his final days, he wanted the family to carry that light forward, to continue finding joy in each other's company, and to honor the legacy of love and resilience that defined the Osbourne household. The news of Ozzy's final wish comes at a time when the public is still grappling with the enormity of his loss. Fans across the globe have taken to social media to share their grief, recounting personal stories of how his music shaped their lives, inspired them to embrace individuality, and offered comfort during difficult times. His influence on the music industry is immeasurable, from pioneering heavy metal to redefining what it meant to be a rock star in the public eye. Yet his final concern was never about fame or accolades. Instead, he focused on the "please subscribe and like the video before continuing" people who mattered most: Sharon, their children, and the family that had been his anchor through decades of chaos, triumph, and personal struggle. Family insiders revealed that Ozzy's conversations with Sharon were often intimate and reflective, moments in which he shed the larger-than-life persona that fans adored and spoke as a man confronting the finite nature of life. He expressed gratitude for the years he had been given, for the music he had created, and for the family that had stood by him through thick and thin. He spoke of regrets, but also of deep satisfaction for having lived authentically, for having loved and been loved, and for having left a mark on the world that would outlast his physical presence. Sharon, who has always been fiercely protective of her husband and family, has vowed to honor these wishes by maintaining unity within the family, celebrating Ozzy's legacy, and continuing to support the causes and passions he held dear. Ozzy's final days were not only marked by reflection, but also by a sense of preparedness. He took steps to ensure that his wishes regarding his estate, personal items, and family care were clearly communicated, sparing those around him from potential confusion or conflict. Those who were close to him describe a man at peace with his choices, a man who faced the end with courage, grace, and a quiet determination to leave the world knowing he had done all he could for the people he loved most. In an industry often characterized by excess and spectacle, Ozzy's final message was profoundly simple: love fiercely, live authentically, and treasure the bonds of family above all else. For Sharon, the loss is immeasurable, but the knowledge of her husband's wishes provides a measure of solace. She has shared with close friends that carrying out Ozzy's last request is both an honor and a responsibility she intends to embrace fully. It involves guiding the family through grief, celebrating his life publicly and privately, and ensuring that his legacy, both as a musician and as a devoted family man, remains intact for generations to come. Fans can expect tributes, memorials, and commemorations that reflect the multifaceted life Ozzy led, honoring not just the rock icon, but the man whose heart was as large as his stage presence. The broader world, too, has taken notice of Ozzy's final wish. Celebrities, musicians, and fans alike have expressed admiration for his dedication to family and his reflective approach to the end of life. In an era where public figures often leave behind controversy or division, Ozzy's legacy is remarkably unifying, a testament to his enduring impact on music, culture, and the people who knew him best. News outlets have reported extensively on his final days, and documentaries and retrospectives are already in development, chronicling both the highs and lows of a life lived with intensity and passion. Through it all, Sharon and the family remain steadfast in their commitment to honoring his memory in accordance with his wishes, ensuring that his message of love, unity, and authenticity resonates for years to come. Ozzy Osbourne's life was one of contrasts. Wild yet tender, rebellious yet devoted, larger than life yet intimately human. His final wish to Sharon, simple in its essence yet profound in its emotional weight, encapsulates the man behind the legend. It reminds us that even the most please subscribe, and like the video before continuing. Extraordinary lives are anchored in ordinary, timeless truths. Love, family, and the desire to leave the world better than we found it. As fans worldwide continue to mourn, celebrate, and remember, Ozzy's legacy will endure. Not only through his music but through the enduring love he inspired in those closest to him. Sharon, carrying the torch of his final wish, stands as a testament to that love, ensuring that the Prince of Darkness leaves behind not just a musical empire, but a family bound together by the wisdom and warmth of a life fully lived. Even in his final days, Ozzy Osbourne maintained the sharp wit and charm that had defined him throughout a career spanning more than 5 decades. Close friends and collaborators recall visiting him in the weeks leading up to his death and witnessing a man who, despite immense physical challenges, remained mentally vibrant and emotionally present. Conversations often drifted from music to memories of family milestones, from onstage mishaps to quiet moments at home, and Ozzy would frequently pause to reflect on the path that had brought him here. He spoke with Sharon about the early days in Birmingham, when he and the original Black Sabbath members were just young men chasing a dream, unaware that their music would one day reverberate across the globe. He laughed at the stories of their chaotic tours, recalling moments of sheer absurdity and youthful rebellion, but behind the laughter was a hint of nostalgia, a longing for simpler times, and a deep appreciation for the life he had carved out alongside Sharon. Ozzy's final wish, sources reveal, was layered with emotion and a clear message. He wanted those he loved most to remain united, to continue supporting one another even after he was gone. He asked Sharon to ensure that his children, Amy, Kelly, and Jack, remained close, to remind them that family is the foundation on which everything else is built. He spoke of the importance of passing down not just material inheritance, but life lessons, values, and the wisdom that comes from experience, mistakes, and triumphs alike. For a man who had lived so publicly, who had faced scandal, addiction, and controversy, his last wish was remarkably grounded in intimacy, in the private realm of home and heart, a side of Ozzy that the world rarely saw. Friends and family describe Sharon's role during this period as heroic in its own quiet way. She navigated the emotional turbulence of watching her husband struggle with declining health, all while keeping the family centered and grounded. Sharon, who has always been fiercely protective, ensured that Ozzy's days were filled with comfort, laughter, and dignity. She honored his love of music by surrounding him with melodies he cherished, from Black Sabbath classics to his solo hits, often watching as he smiled at the familiar rhythms and reminisced about tours, recording sessions, and fan encounters that had left an indelible mark on his soul. It was a final please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Gift of joy that mirrored the very essence of who Ozzy was. A man whose life had been inseparable from music, yet who always returned home to the warmth of family love. In the final conversations Ozzy shared with Sharon, He spoke candidly about mortality and the legacy he hoped to leave. He expressed no desire for grand memorials or public spectacle. Rather, he wished for simple but profound acts of remembrance. He wanted his loved ones to celebrate the life he lived, to honor the music and memories he left behind, and to approach the future with courage and compassion. He emphasized the importance of love over anger, connection over conflict, and laughter over sorrow. Those close to him describe it as a moment of clarity, a crystallization of the life philosophy that had guided him through decades of fame, excess, and hardship. In that, Ozzy showed once more why he was not just a rock icon, but a man whose heart remained open even in the face of death. Fans around the world have responded to the news with an outpouring of emotion, sharing personal stories of how Ozzy's music and public persona shaped their lives. Social media has become a virtual memorial, with tributes pouring in from fellow musicians, celebrities, and everyday admirers who recount how his songs gave them strength, courage, or simply a sense of belonging. Many note that his final wish, focused on family, reminds them of the humanity behind the legend, that Ozzy Osbourne was more than just a stage persona or a cultural icon. He was a man who loved fiercely, who cherished life's fleeting moments, and who wanted the people closest to him to continue living with purpose, joy, and unity. In addition to his emotional requests, Ozzy was meticulous about practical matters. He and Sharon discussed arrangements for his estate, personal possessions, and the ongoing care of family members. By planning ahead, he alleviated potential stressors for those he would leave behind, demonstrating foresight, responsibility, and a deep concern for the well-being of his loved ones. This side of Ozzy, often overshadowed by his public antics, reveals a man who thought deeply about the future, who understood that leaving behind guidance and clarity was one of the greatest gifts he could give. As Sharon continues to navigate life after Ozzy, she has spoken about the ongoing mission to honor his wishes. Friends say she has become a pillar of strength, channeling grief into action, ensuring that family traditions endure, that memories are cherished, and that Ozzy's legacy lives on not only in music but in the love and care of those he held dear. The Osbourne family, united by this final wish, now carries a collective responsibility to keep alive the principles Ozzy valued above all else, to remain connected, to support one another, and to celebrate the extraordinary life of a man who, despite personal struggles and public scrutiny, remained unwavering in his devotion to family. The story of Ozzy Osbourne's final wish is a reminder to fans and the public alike that beyond the headlines, the stage lights, and the music lies a deeply human experience. It is a narrative of love, legacy, reflection, and the conscious acknowledgement of life's impermanence. In an era where celebrity deaths are often shrouded in speculation or controversy, Ozzy's end is marked by clarity, tenderness, and a profound focus on the people who mattered most. Sharon, as the custodian of his final wish, stands at the center of this enduring story, guiding the family and the world through the celebration of a life lived with intensity, authenticity, and love. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing.